Today, I want to talk about my favorite light. I did an unboxing of it, I don't know, a week or so ago. But I want to do a full setup because I really, really like this light. It's the Amaran P60X, and for the price, honestly, I think it's the best LED panel on the market. It's not perfect, but I had a friend that brought one on a set earlier this year, and I can't remember if it was the X or the C. He might have had the color version, but I think it was just the P60X. And we used it a lot, and it was very helpful, very quick to set up. It's super bright, and I was like, I got to get one of those. So I got one. I continued to, it basically became my go-to light, and then I bought another. So I got two of them. But I just kind of want to I really only used the basic settings, just turned it on, adjusted the brightness, and adjusted the color temperature until recently. And now I've set up the app and just gone through all the settings. It's got a few effects, which are, I don't know how useful they are, but they're kind of fun. So I'm going to go through the basic setup of the light and then just the functionality it has from the controls on the back of the light and also the functionality you can get through the app. One of the things I like so much about this light and other Aperture lights that I've used I guess this is Amaran, but it's made by Aperture, is they provide you with an awesome carrying case. My only gripe with the carrying case is I wish the soft box fit in the case. It doesn't, but what are you going to do? In the case, you've got very generous length power cords, which I've always been very impressed with Aperture and the length of their power cords. My Aperture 300D has got a super long power cord as well. I really hate it when companies cheat you on the length of the power cords, and Aperture has not done that, so thank you, Aperture. And then it's got, which is super cool, the mount to go on the light stand, baby pin, and then actually this has got a hole if you want to put, an umbrella for additional or different diffusion, on the front of the light, which is cool. And obviously the baby pin's got 3/8/16 and a 1/4 20 thread on it. And then the light, which takes two Sony NPF style batteries. It doesn't come with any batteries, nor will really any batteries fit in the case, but it kind of chews through batteries pretty quickly, so I'm not surprised that they didn't include space in the case for batteries, because if you're going to power it off of batteries, you need several of them, and it will not work with just one, which I wish it would, because sometimes I'm like, I'm just going to throw one battery on real quick because this shot's going to take a very short amount of time, but you've got to have both batteries on for the light to power up. The power cable's got a little twist release, so it just pops in when you push it in and locks into place, but to take it off, you just twist and pull. Oh, and thank you, Aperture, for including a Velcro tie, which is very cool. But the other end of the power cable locks as well, so if you want to pull it off, you gotta pull that little red tab. And another nice thing is it comes with this little, it's a loop that, it's like cable that you can hang on the light stand if you need to suspend this somewhere. Yeah, I've never had to, just because this power cable is so long, this will always reach the ground. But at least every time that I've used it, it's reached the ground. But it's kind of nice, if you've got it hung way up high and you need to hang this somewhere, it comes with something to hang, on a hook or just on one of the knobs on the light stand. So, again, well done, Aperture. Sorry, that's at 1%, so it's going to be a little bright. It's a very bright light for its size. But the softbox, I've seen some people complain about the softbox, that it really doesn't soften this light up that much. I think it does. I've never, some people are suggesting you put the softbox and an umbrella, which would be nice. It would really soften it up. But I think the diffusion in this softbox is actually pretty heavy, as it is. So I have always just used the softbox, even when I've used this as the key light. But it's pretty simple. It's got little tent poles, and they just kind of click together. There are 4 hooks on the corners of the light, which this elastic hooks around, and you put the light kind of in between the elastic and just hook it on. That's it. Super cool. I'm not going to leave that softbox on there though. You know, there have been some questions about the fan on the back. I know the P60C has got 2 fans, and this one just has 1. And, you know, you can hear it, like my ear is really close to it. I can hear it, but I've never had an issue of being able to hear it like on a shoot in the audio. It's really quiet, so I don't think that's really going to be an issue for anybody. I don't know about the P60C. Maybe the fans are louder, but everything I've seen, it seems like they're comparable. And the reason I went with the X is, you know, a lot of people are like the C is only like $100 more, $80 more. Get the color version so that you've got the RGB option. It has more effects. It's got more options, but honestly, I'm using this for like this and the other P60X and then the 300D for a 3-point lighting setup for interviews. And there's no reason like the 300D is going to be the key light, and these will be the fill and hair lights. And there's no reason that I'm going to have in a documentary setting to make one of them RGB, like a different color. At least I haven't run across that ever. You know, obviously in here I've got some RGB LEDs, and if you're in studio and you want to have the option of having some extra color on the background or even a hair light that's a different color, maybe you go with the C. I know I'm not going to use it, and the times that I'm going to wish I had it are going to be next to none, so I just save the money. And also, the P60X is a little bit lighter, and it's smaller and more compact, so that's worth something, especially since I'm carrying two of them around in a small, compact lighting case. You know, it's whatever your needs are. The C is not that much more expensive, and if you think you'll use it, get the C. I've actually heard one benefit of the P60C is it is brighter than the P60X. So let's go through some of the settings on the light itself. So obviously, very basically, you've got power button, and then you've got menu button, lighting button, effects, and then your intensity and color temperature dials. And on pretty much any shoot, this is all I use. I don't even use the app. It's a lot. This is super intuitive and super quick because all I'm changing is intensity and color temperature, and it's right there. But so obviously intensity goes from 0 all the way to 100, and it gets really, really bright at 100. And then color temperature is 6500 through 3200. And one cool thing is these are both buttons. So if you click on the color temperature button, it's going to scroll through some standard color temperatures, like 4300 if you're in like a fluorescent environment, 5600 for daylight, and then 6500. And obviously 3200 for incandescent. And we go into the menu, and you've got the fan mode. And so when you're scrolling through the menu, you use the intensity button and press in to select it. So fan mode, you go to smart or medium. Medium is just going to be like a constant fan mode. I always leave it on smart. Studio mode, I'm not sure what studio mode is. I've looked this up. It seems like studio mode has something to do with the AC power. So if you know what studio mode is, let me know. Bluetooth reset, I've actually had to use that. So once you connect it to the app, the first time I tried connecting without the actual, without signing up for an account, and like it didn't work right for some reason. I don't know if I had just done something else wrong or if it was because I didn't have an account, but I had to reset the Bluetooth so I could reset it up through the app. Serial number, language, firmware. You've got some custom effects that you can set up. I haven't messed with that at all. It asked me when I first installed the app and connected the app to the light if I wanted to update the firmware. I clicked yes, it kept erroring out, so I just stopped. And you go to lighting, which just takes you back to your main screen where you can adjust the intensity and the color temperature. Then effects. And I found the effects to be, there's a few of them. There's pulsing, paparazzi, fireworks, and that's it. So there's only 4. You can adjust the intensity, how frequently it pulses, you know, and it's all of them as well, and the color temperature. Honestly, the effects, I don't think I'm ever going to use them. And maybe they'd be more usable on the P60C, because like with the fireworks, it could change different colors, whereas this it can't. And I know there are more effects on the P60C. But on this, like, maybe I'll use the strobe. If we're shooting a scene where we need to have a strobe effect, I could see maybe using that one, but don't think they're going to be utilized. So, and that's really it. It's real simple. As I said, it takes 2 NPF style batteries, and you have to have both of them on the light for the light to work. They just click in real nicely. Let's take AC power off. Yeah, look at that. Even gives me a battery indicator, so the battery is full. Yep, and there's a little release button right here, right there for both of them. So let's set up the app. You're going to go to the App Store, download the SIDUS, the Sidious, I guess. Sounds like Star Wars. The Sidious Link app. And which is weird. You think it would be like Amaran or Aperture, but I would register for an account. It was super easy. I felt like the app worked better once I had registered for the account. It's like it didn't want to stay connected. And anyway, so once you're in the app, you're going to go to the top right-hand corner, click on plus. It's going to give you a new scene. You're going to click on that scene. Then you're going to top right corner again. There is a green plus button. Tap on that. And you will see your light fixture, whatever it is, under new fixtures. Just select it, click on setup, hit OK, and again, it's telling me that it wants me to upgrade the firmware. I'm not going to do that because I haven't been successful with that. You can try it. It didn't like mess anything up. It just, and if you hit upgrade, your phone will, through Bluetooth, upgrade the firmware on your light. But I'm going to not upgrade right now. All right, and you've got a bunch of controls. Basic control rate at the bottom is intensity, so I am at 0 right now. I can go up to 100. I can go down to 0. And what's cool is you can go like less than percentage, I guess, points, or at least on the light it doesn't tell you if it's in between percentages. On the app it does. 99% of the time, for me, the app is not going to be that useful. But I did have a shoot a little while back where we had a light hung about 15 feet in the air. I think it was on like a triple riser, and the gaffer was Bluetooth connected to the light. I don't remember what light it was, but I was like, hey, could you bring that light up by 10%? And he just did it on his phone. So that's a situation where this would be super helpful. If you want to adjust the color temperature, or if you want to adjust the intensity, and the light is like super high on a stand or hung from a grid in the ceiling, that will make this really, really useful. If I click on the fixture, under fixtures, it gives me a bunch of controls. I can change the color temperature. I can change the dimming curve so it dims linearly, or it does like a ramped dim out or fade in. It's got some standard color temperatures, 3200, 4000, 5600. That's a little strange because the standard color temperatures on the light are 3200, 4300, and 5600, and then 6500. Which 4000 is weird. 4300 is kind of like, usually if you're unsure, you're mixing light temperatures or color temperatures, or you're like in fluorescence and you don't know, you're going to go with something like 4300. And 4000 is a little strange, but hey. And what's cool also, you've got, you can quarter intensity, half intensity, full intensity. Real quickly, just buttons right there. This is kind of neat. So kind of like on your camera, you've got some basic white balance settings. You can do that with the app. Down here at the bottom, you've got daylight, a couple different HMI options if you're trying to match HMIs. Studio lighting, studio lamps for I'm sure they're they're both 3200. So tungsten, normal daylight, horizon daylight. You just got a xenon lamp. You've got a bunch of different options. You're trying to match a standard color temperature. You've got some preset options. Say, hey, it's probably this. Source match is super cool. And that was one of the things that first, amazed me about some of these aperture lights is it takes the camera on your phone and it tries to guess as best it can at what color temperature light you're dealing with so that this will automatically match. Like if I go right here, I'm gonna hit match, and it's gonna say that's 4250. And it's gonna set my light to the same, or close. It won't do 50, it'll do 4200. So this will read and try to guess the color temperature, and from what I've seen, it's pretty accurate. I haven't done a ton of tests with it, but from what I've heard from other people and the little bit I've tried it, it seems pretty good. So that's pretty cool. Again, a lot of this is matching other lights. So if I had a, like for example, the Aperture 300D, which is daylight balanced, and I had a quarter CTO on it, quarter color temperature orange, I could match this. I could just say, okay, so I'm daylight right now, and I'm going to put 1/4 color temperature orange, and it's going to give me that color temperature on this light. Super cool. One other thing that's pretty cool, if you go to the bottom right, you can design like a fade in and a fade out. It's like a programmed preset. So I can go here, I can say, oh, I'm going to begin at 20%. I want that duration to be 15 seconds. And then the midpoint will be 50%. I want that to be 8 seconds. And the end will be, I'm going to go out to 0%, and that'll be 10 seconds. And then you just hit play, and it does that little program that you made. Because it's like, yeah, it's doing it. It's getting up to 50% now. And it's probably going to hang, it should hang there for 8 seconds. Yep, that's what it's doing. And then now it's dimming down to 0. Which that might, who knows? Maybe I'll use that at some point, and it's pretty intuitive. But you can set a beginning, mid, and end point for a little lighting preset. And that, again, is the bottom right. It's a little like sun icon. So that is by no means a complete rundown of this light, but it's a pretty quick overview of its basic functionality, which is a lot for 250 bucks. I really like this light. You know, whether you want to get this one or you want to get the C for the RGB version, you got to weigh price and size. It's about 100 bucks more. It's a little bigger. It is a little brighter. It gives you some more functionality, but will you really use the RGB option? Some of you will. So it's definitely worth the investment. For me, I'm good with the X, and I really, really like it. And that's why I got 2. If you have one and you like it, and there's something I missed in this review, put it in the comments, because I'd like to learn more about this light. I certainly don't know everything about it yet. And I also want to get into the functionality of the 300D. Again, I've just been using the 300D at a very basic level, and I want to set up the app with it and see what it can do. Oh, there's one other thing I want to see. So I've got 2 of these, and I think I can control them at the same time. We'll see how long this is going to last on this tiny little NPF battery. Shoot, I gotta have 2 of them. Try this guy too, but this guy's barely got any juice in it. Okay. Both at 1%. Oh no, this one keeps turning off. It's out of power. Yeah, look at that. You can control them at the same time. That's really cool. So, if you set up a scene, you control both lights. It's pretty neat. Anyway, I was wondering if you could do that. I'm sure there's a lot of stuff I haven't figured out. You know, Nathan always gets on me for like buying equipment, but not really learning how to use it, just using its like basic function, like with the Ronin. It's down there. I just use it so basically. I don't even plug the USB cable into the camera to be able to control the record button or any like camera functionality with the controls on the Ronin handle. So maybe I should do more reviews on this so I actually learn the functionality of the equipment I have, and I'm not just using it for its, you know, using its most basic functions. Anyway, I really like these lights. If you're thinking about an LED panel light, I think for 250 bucks, I think you're going to have trouble finding a light as functional and as bright and just as good quality as the Amaran P60x or the P60C if you want to spend the extra 100. And that is day 99.